Hi, I'm Dr. Joe Christiano, and I want to talk to you for a minute or two about weight loss. That's a huge problem in America today, and unfortunately, a lot of people are going about it the wrong way, and they're becoming frustrated. You know, a lot of times we gravitate to maybe the latest and the greatest weight loss diet concept, and we find some success for a month or two or three, but over time, we find ourselves regaining that weight. In fact, studies show us that 95% of all people who are successful at losing weight gain it back. Something's wrong. Something is not right about that, and I don't want you to fall into that trap. You know, in all my materials, in my book, Blood Types, Body Types, and You, Never Go Back, my DVD coaching series, Fork in the Road, all my materials, I do address weight loss, but I talk about it from the individuality perspective. In other words, knowing your blood type, knowing your body type, understanding these mechanics, these things that make you unique, so that when you make food selections, you're not going on a diet plan per se, but you're actually selecting foods that work biochemically favorably for you. That's the key. And so in my materials, you learn that, but applying it is really where we see the difference, because once you start to make these food selections that are compatible to your blood type, your body goes through a natural detoxification. And by the way, toxins store in fat cells. And so the more toxins that we ingest or accumulate in the fat cells, the larger the fat cells. Unfortunately, foods that are not compatible to your blood type create toxic buildup in fat cells. So if we avoid the avoid foods, or the foods that are contributing to these enlarged fat cells, what's going to happen? The fat cells start shrinking and we start losing excess body fat. It's not about losing weight, it's about losing body fat. That's why in my materials I talk about the difference between muscle percent and body fat percent, or our body composition. That's what's key. I know we go to the scale and we weigh in Monday morning and then Monday night and Tuesday morning and so on, to see how we're doing, but that is the worst way of monitoring our success. Sure, you can weigh yourself, but I would rather you have a different perspective. I'd rather you look at it as your body composition. In other words, maybe today you're overweight, maybe you're 50% body fat. Well, that means that we've got to get that body fat percent down, and we got to shoot for that particular goal, not how much you weigh. So when we start getting the mechanics of our body operating properly by eating the foods that are most bioavailable and compatible to our blood type, the mechanics of our body starts working properly. And so just a matter of over time, we can eventually reduce those fat cells, getting rid of the toxins in the body. The body's undergoing a natural detoxification while it's losing that body fat percent. And before you know it, not only do you feel better, not only are you getting around better, but you're actually looking better, because you're taking on a very shapely form. Not because you went on a diet plan or because you found the latest and greatest, but you learned something about yourself. And that's what my teaching is all about. But what I want to share with you today is a way to kickstart this metabolism process. In other words, a jumpstart program can get you started, because a lot of times we don't have time to eat. Even if I'm giving you all the information that I know that will work for you, you still have a schedule to deal with. The real world, Dr. Joe, is what people say, and the ideal world, where I'm trying to help meet the real world and the ideal world without compromising what I believe is the best thing for you. And so what I have in front of me and before you is my 12-week Jumpstart program. It's actually for weight loss. It's not an end in itself. It's just to stimulate your metabolism, to get your metabolic process up and running. If you can think about a cold room, if you live up north and you're in a living room and you have a fireplace and you want to warm the room, you have to get kindling to start a fire in the fireplace. But in order to get the room warm, you have to add more fire. You have to create a larger fire and add more kindling or more wood, but the proper wood, so that you create a blazing fire. And the end result is more heat, and you've accomplished your goal. The same parallel is true when it's time to lose weight. We don't want to go on a diet plan where we're depleting calories and nutrients in those vitally important energy elements that we need for good health, but rather we want to add the right food, the right logs to the fireplace, so to speak, so that we can jumpstart that metabolic process, so we can kickstart that fire in a fireplace, so it isn't just a pilot light, but a blazing fire. We want to do the same thing with our metabolism. We want to kickstart it, get it up and running, and keep it running. And this is what this 12-week Jumpstart program is all about. It really helps you get started. It's not the end, because we know this, and you'll see this in the materials in the booklet that's part of the 12-week Jumpstart program, is that once we get the metabolic process in order, in other words, once we get it in proper order and it's running, I call it metabolic momentum. And your metabolism is all about burning calories. But the key is, when it comes to losing weight, is dealing with your basal metabolic rate. That's your body's ability to burn calories while you're resting. We all know that if we're active, I don't care if it's walking, running, playing sports, lifting weights, dancing, it doesn't matter what the physical activity is, we know we're burning calories. But what about when we're sitting? Suppose we're at the office and we sit at a desk, or we're in bed sleeping, or we're driving our car, where we're relaxing. That's very, very important time to have our metabolic rate up and running. And when we can do that, when we can create that metabolic burning process in a continual perpetual motion, you have just eliminated all the effort in trying to lose weight, because your body mechanics are doing it for you. Your body was designed for that. We kind of gunked up all the parts, trying out all these different types of plans out there, and really end up frustrated and being one of the 95%ers that keep failing. And that's not my plan for you. So let's take a look at what I have here so you understand what this is all about. First of all, we want to kickstart your metabolism, all right? We have to eat, and that's very important. But we'll say, for example, that you're having a difficult time getting the kids off to work, the husband off to work, or the wife off to work, or whatever the case is, and you miss breakfast, or you're busy at work, or you're busy with taking kids here and there, or whatever your schedule is that doesn't allow you to sit down and have breakfast, or have a snack mid-morning and have a lunch and a mid-afternoon snack and a dinner, because of schedules. And we know we all have these schedules. So what I have designed, and I believe this is a very wonderful and nutritious way of getting started by jump-starting and kick-starting your metabolism. First of all, you have a booklet. This booklet lays out breakfast, lunch, and dinner plans that you can have. And it doesn't matter what your blood type is, because I've laid this out so that it's compatible to all blood types. So that element is already factored in. Also, I talk about dealing with losing body fat versus just losing weight. I'd like to tell people, listen, if you can lower your body fat percent month 1, month 2, month 3, and so forth, then weigh yourself. In other words, look in the mirror and see how your clothes fit. That's the best way of monitoring your success. If you're in a size 18 dress and you want to get down to a size 8, and you get to an 8, then weigh yourself, and you can tell what that 8 weighs like. But see, if you want to go from 185 pounds down to 125, and you think that's the ideal weight you need to be at, you may never see that weight again, but you may be able to look like 120 pounds weighing 155. You see, you can look great at 155 or terrible at 155 based on your body composition, not how much you weigh, because that scale doesn't know the difference between a pile of books, bricks, or a human body. So that's real important to remember. That's why what I'm doing for you is providing you kind of kickstart components to get that metabolic process up and going while you're eating foods that are compatible to your blood type. So the booklet is going to give you some of those insights about burning fat, not losing weight, burning fat, and sparing muscle tissue. Remember the thing about muscle tissue. That helps, that requires your body to burn more calories 24/7. In other words, while you're sleeping, your body needs more calories. That's energy burnt just to survive. The less muscle you have, the less metabolic process there is, and so therefore you store all those calories. And unfortunately, we never store excess calories or unused calories in the form of muscle tissue. We store them in the form of fat. And so that's what we're dealing with, trying to reduce that body fat percent. So the booklet gives you the guidelines for that. It also gives you the menus to follow, and they're very simple.